this is Ms. Humbert here. Today I'm going to be going over Unit 6 Quiz 1 review. So we're going to be talking over what you need to do to make sure you're ready for the Unit 6 Quiz 1. So remember, when we're doing exponential equations, we want to set up a chart. So we're going to make a chart. Okay, we're going to do our x and our y values, and I usually pick 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or just 3 if you want. Okay, so what you're going to do, remember, is you're going to plug in each of those values wherever you see an x. So 2 to the 0 power is just going to be 1. 2 to the first power is 2. 2 to the second power is 4. 2 to the third power is 8. 2 to the fourth power is going to be 16. So now we're going to go ahead and graph each of those. So we're going to go for this, for 0, 1, we're going over 0 and up 1. And we're going to plot that point. We're going to go over 1 and up 2 and plot that point. We're going to go over 2 and up 4 and plot that point. We're going to go over 3 and up 8 and plot that point. We're going to go over 4 and up all the way to 16 and plot that point. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect all of our dots all the way up. And that's it for for number 1. Now it asks us for the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always when the x value is 0, so that's going to be 1. Now, let's take a look at number 2. I noticed that I have a 10 out front and that my number inside of the parentheses is 1/2. Now, when I have a number in the parentheses that's less than 1, I like to do a negative first. So I do 0, or negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and we'll do 3 as well. So basically on my calculator, I'm going to do 10 times 0.5 raised to the negative first power. And when I do that, so I do 10 times 0.5 to the negative 1, and I get 20. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to raise it to the 0 power. So this is going to become a 0, and I get 10. And I keep doing that all the way up. And I want you guys to make sure that you're plugging it into the calculator yourselves too, because you don't want to think you can do all of this and then realize you're very, very wrong when you get to the quiz. So make sure you know how to plug it into your calculator. So for the first one, we're going left 1 and up 20. Well, that's off our graph, so I'm going to skip that one. They're going over 0, up 10. So we're starting our graph at this point right here. We're going over 1 and up 5. Over 2, up 2.5, which is right here. Over 3 and up 1.2. So now this is going to be coming down like so. And hopefully you can connect your dots a lot better than I can, because that didn't go very well. So that's your final answer for number 2. Now your y-intercept is where in crossing the y-axis, which when we did it was 10. So then your y-intercept is going to be 10. Whoop. Okay, so then let's go ahead and let's out. So we're going to go ahead and look at the next one. So it says here that the value of Roy's company computer equipment is decreasing. Okay, so decreasing tells me that it's going down. And the function that they give us is 400 times 0.87 to the x. In this equation, x is the number of years. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take x, and we know that they're asking us for 5 years. So we're going to plug in 5 for that x right there. So I have 4,000 times 0.87, and then I'm going to raise it to the 5th power. So then we can go ahead and we can type that right into our calculator. And I suggest you actually type it into the calculator for me, simply because I think it will help make sure you know how to do it. Now, when you do that, you should get $1,994.68. Now, you want to make sure you round it correctly. So take a look at the third number, and you want to round up if it's 5 or above, and round down if it's 4 or below. And you want to make sure you label it, and here we're talking about money. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 4. Number 4 says, suppose the waste generated by non-recycled paper and cardboard product is estimated by this function right here. So we want to figure out how much waste is created from 8 pounds of non-recycled paper. So that's what we're going to plug in for x up there. So I have 1,000 times 2 to the 0.3 times 8. So now you need to take, and you actually need to do an extra step of multiplying 0.3 times 8. So we do 1,000 times 2, and that's going to be raised to the 2.4 power. So now we can go ahead and plug that into our calculators. Again, do it with me so you make sure you know how to do it. Now when I did that, I got 5,278. And with my rounding, I get 0.031. Well, since this 1 is below 5, I can just leave it as 0.03. And my label is going to be pounds of waste. So that's your final answer for number 4. Now, let's take a look at number 5. Wildlife biologists have been tracking the wolf population in northern Minnesota and have determined that it's increasing by the following model. So y is equal to 300 times 1.15 to the x, where y is the population and x is the number of years. So what we're going to do is we first need to figure out how many years passed between 1990 and 2020. So what I can do is I can subtract those out. And when I do that, I get 30 years. So we're looking at a 30-year span. So that's going to be what I plug in for x. So I get 300 times 1.15 raised to the 30th power. And I can go ahead and plug that into my calculator. So when I do that, I get 1,900 and 19,684 wolves. Now let's think about it logically. Is it okay to say that there is 0.6 of a wolf? Probably not. You don't want to have 0.6 of a wolf. That's mean to the poor wolf that's being counted as 0.6. Okay, so what you want to make sure you do is you round to the nearest whole number. But remember that the rounding rules still apply here. So let's take a look at number 6. So for number 6, cars are expected to depreciate. Depreciate means going down in value the moment they are driven out of the car dealership lot. Chevy's Malibus are said to have the model. So here's the model that represents the depreciation in value. So if you went out and you bought a Chevy Malibu, you would pay $20,000. And we want to figure out what it's going to be worth after 7 years. So I'm going to start and I have that 20,000. And then I'm going to do times 0.85, and then I'm going to raise it to the 7th power. Again, just typing that into your calculator. I know it's easy, but you should be practicing it along with me to make sure you're ready. Then you get 6,411.54. So, after 2 years, or 7 years of having this car, it's not even worth half of what it was at the initial cost. That's crazy, just to think about that, okay? So let's take a look at number 7. So we need to factor this. So I'm multiplying to negative 24 and adding to 10. So to do that, I want to think, okay, first of all, I have a negative symbol, so I'm going to have a positive and a negative. So I'm going to do a negative 2 and a positive 12 in my x. So now I'm going to split up that 10x. And instead of writing 10x, I'm going to write negative 2x plus 12x minus 24. Remember, it's okay if you flip those two values around. So now I'm going to factor by grouping. Between x squared and 2x, I can divide out an x. So I'm dividing each of those terms out by x. And I get x minus 2. Out of the second group, I can take out a 12. Or I'm sorry. Yes, I can. I thought this was a 20 because I can't read my own handwriting. So I'm going to take out a 12, and when I divide each of those by 12, I get x minus 2. So then I see that my leftovers are matching, so I can write those out. And then I'm going to write what's left after that, after I cross those out, and I get x plus 12. Now, I don't need to set these equal to 0 because my original problem was not set equal to 0. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 8. So for number 8, you're multiplying to negative 9 and you're adding to 0. You're not adding to negative 9, okay? So because there's no b value, the b value is 0. So we're going to do 3 and negative 3. So now we're going to go ahead and write that out. So we have x squared, and then instead of the b term, because there isn't one, we're going to do 3x minus 3x minus 9. And now we're going to factor by grouping. So between x squared and 3x, I can take out an x. So I'm dividing each of these terms by x, and I get x plus 3. Then here, because that middle sign is negative, I need to take out a negative GCF. Between negative 3 and negative 9, I can take out a negative 3, and I get x plus 3. So I can factor that out. And once I've done that, I'm going to take what's left after that. And I get this right here. So then, that concludes your review video for today. Thank you for listening.